life can hit like a sledgehammer. But guess what? We hit back harder. Welcome to Affirm That Shit. Somehow I thrive. I'm Jennifer Rogers, your no BS guide to turning life's toughest moments into badass victories. Ready to flip the script? Let's affirm that life can be a bitch, but somehow we thrive. Welcome to another episode of Affirm That Shit. Somehow I thrived. I'm your host, Jennifer Rogers, and today our guest, Alicia, spent her 20s in the grip of FOMO. You know, that fear of missing out. She was a people pleaser, a perfectionist, pushing herself in her career, relationships, life, just about every corner she could put herself in, she was doing it, until her body finally said enough. Today, she's going to talk about her reconnection with herself, her energy, and her soul mission. But before we meet Alicia, let's dive into her affirmations. I invite you now to join me in your space and place to settle in, take a deep breath, and repeat with me. Burnout was my turning point, and from it, I rise into authentic, unshakable confidence. Burnout was my turning point, and from it, I rise into authentic, unshakable confidence. Burnout was my turning point, and from it, I rise into authentic, unshakable confidence. I let go of the fear of missing out and embrace the joy of being present. I let go of the fear of missing out and embrace the joy of being present. I let go of the fear of missing out and embrace the joy of being present. I am worthy of rest without guilt, and my worth is not measured by my productivity. I am worthy of rest without guilt, and my worth is not measured by my productivity. I am worthy of rest without guilt, and my worth is not measured by my productivity. Stay with us. We'll meet Alicia after this break.
Hi, my name is Connie Walton,
And I'm Jennifer Rogers.
and together we are the co-founders of the Sacred Uturi Collective.
Sacred Uturi Collective invites you to come spend time with us March 2026 in this beautiful home in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. It's a retreat where you will find yourself in a quiet space with your soul sisters, reliving, replenishing, and reigniting your soul.
To find out more, visit our website at sacreduturicollective.com to snag your ticket to this beautiful retreat. It's a once in a lifetime and you don't want to miss it.
Good morning, Alicia. Welcome to Affirm That Shit. Thank you for being our guest today.
Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
You are so welcome. Man, talk about fear of missing out, perfectionism, and people pleasing. I think every one of us can identify with that. But I'm looking forward to you telling us how that drug you through and what you're doing today and how you solved it. Where are we going, Alicia?
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go back in time into my late 20s and picture, if you will, my life. So I always believed that the harder I work and I push, the more I'll succeed and the happier I'll be. So, okay, I'm going to work really late hours at my job. I'm going to start a side hustle business at the same time. I'm going to go out every chance I can get in my social life because, I want to be social and I want to keep up with what everyone is doing. I want to look like an Instagram model. So I'm going to push my body like crazy working out. And all of this was happening while I was in a very unhealthy, toxic relationship that was making me feel more and more and more insecure and more like I wasn't good enough. So instead of me thinking, well, this person isn't the right person for me, I thought, I know, I'll just try harder. I'll just try harder to please this person and be more and be better. And in that way, I can win the love and the worthiness and the gratitude that I'm looking for. And one day I was folding laundry and it hit me like a bolt of lightning into my body where I just went, oh my God, I don't love myself. I have no idea who I am anymore. And then the next thought that came in was, I should probably be alone to figure that out. But I quickly jumped in and said, oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to be alone. But it was too late. The universe had already heard that. So within a week, my entire life fell apart. My partner at the time left me for this young girl he was cheating on me with. He moved out of our house and we had to go through that whole process. I lost my job and I had to be transferred to another country, to another job. Friends all fell apart because our entire social circle knew what was going on. So everything just kind of crumbled. And I went into survival mode. I'm like, okay, so it's just me now. I've got to push even harder because I need to be successful. And after months of pushing past the headaches and the sleepless nights and the anxiety in my body and the digestive issues and all of these warning signs that my body was sending me, I found myself on my yoga mat in child's pose for 45 minutes, unable to move. I couldn't move. I felt like my body weighed 1,000 kilos. And in that moment, I heard my body speak to me for the very first time. And she said, why don't you love me? Why is it never enough? Why do you push me so, so, so hard? And I was a little bit taken aback, like, whoa, I've never actually heard my body speak before. So in that moment, I made a promise. I said, I spoke out loud to my body, okay, from now on, I'm going to listen to you and we are going to do this together. And that was the beginning of me climbing out of the worst period in my life. I want to say that, okay, so the next day, great, all my patterns were broken. And sure, now we're living a life of alignment. It took a little bit longer than that. I completely collapsed into a devastating burnout that lasted about 3 full years to recover from. And this was extreme. Like, I couldn't walk down the street to the end of the street. I couldn't go into a store for about 6 months because my nervous system was so overstimulated that light and sound and people, it was too much. I would have a panic attack. So everything I had worked so hard for was gone. My career was gone. The relationship was gone. The social circle was gone. My health was gone. And I turned 30 moving back in with my parents. And I felt like, okay, this is rock bottom. Um,
Kind of the icing on the cake of this shit pile, right? Like, here we go. Here we go.
absolutely. Like, we didn't reach Forbes under 30, right?
Right.
Like,
I want to ask you, Alicia, because you said that was the first time you heard your body speak to you. And then you took us a little further, and it took some years to come through this. But when you first heard your body speak to you, where did you feel it? And did you feel anything melt away in that moment? Because you said you were frozen for 45 minutes. So when you heard it and you spoke out loud back, what shifted when you made that verbalization to, okay, we're making changes?
I'm so glad you asked that, Jennifer, because it really came from deep within my heart. And when I first heard it, I started to cry, really like the ugly cry, right? Like the snot going down on the yoga mat, and it was just a whole hot mess. And I realized I pushed myself away from the mat. I sat on my heels. I took a deep, full breath in, and I said that out loud. And I felt like my body softened. It was like an exhale. And it felt like she had been needing to hear this my entire life. She had been waiting for this moment. So as then what happened after that was I had to keep checking in with myself. I had to keep asking myself, hey, what do you need right now? How are you feeling? What's going on? Talk to me. How can I help you? And everything came from what my body would tell me, not which was often the opposite of what my mind wanted.
What I want to ask here is about the people pleasing, because my understanding of it, and a recovering people pleaser as well, is a lot of times we're doing that because there's internal work we need to do, right? We're not focusing, we're not looking inward. But we have those that this is just how we are. We're on that constant, we're on that overachiever level. And we'll hear people call, oh, you're an overachiever. Oh, you're the teacher's pet. You're this, you're that. So for those that are living in that overstimulation, honestly, how can they help, or how can you help them break free of it? You said you heard your body speak to them. For some, they may not hear that. What are some other signs or pieces they can pay attention to?
Absolutely. So every person I talk to who has burnout has burnt out because of a lack of boundaries, because they do not know how to say no. And more often than not, they're in this over-giving, over-pleasing, over-achieving hamster wheel, right? And this comes from what I like to call the nice girl syndrome or the nice boy syndrome. And that is when we were younger, children figure out from a very young age how to people please.
Hmm.
They realize that when they are super helpful and they keep the peace and they're entertaining and they make people laugh and they do what they're told, they get rewarded for that, right? Oh,
Oh,
you're such a
student
good
of the month,
girl.
right? Student
You're
of the month.
such a good boy. Look what you got. Here's a sticker. Well done, right? And so that sends the message of, okay, I have to give and achieve to be worthy, to be lovable, to be safe. And that inner dialogue, inner programming pushes us to keep achieving because we are looking for these things outside of ourselves. And I can tell you from my experience, but I can tell you from many other people's experiences, that hole will never be filled. It doesn't matter if you win the Nobel Prize or the Oscar or like this British cyclist who won the world championship 6 times, plus an Olympic gold medal. And when she was interviewed, she said, yeah, I just wanted to prove I'm good at something and I haven't done that yet, right? Because it's never enough. We're looking for something outside of us to validate us. So the first thing your body is going to do is send you signals that it's too much. If you are struggling with anxiousness, right? A lot of tightness in the chest, shallow breathing, struggling to go to sleep, lying in bed at night with all your tabs open of, okay, I have to do this, 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 feeling tightness in your throat. It's almost like you're swallowing your words and you feel the pressure to always say yes because you're afraid of disappointing someone, you're afraid of being judged, and you're afraid of not being liked anymore, right? These are signs that you're actually living for other people's approval, not for yourself. So the first thing that you need to do is to help your body feel safe to say no. Because we've heard this many, many times as adult, right? I'm a grown-up adult, I have rights, I'm allowed to say no, I'm allowed to change my mind. And logically we understand this. But because we're carrying that internal programming, our nervous system doesn't actually feel safe. Our nervous system thinks if I say no, nobody will like me and I'll be rejected. And that's really painful and really scary. So we have to start to regulate through the nervous system and teach your body that it is safe for you to take up space. It is safe for you to rest. It is safe for you to say no.
Alicia, what is one of your boundaries? Because you've given us great examples for those to start incorporating. What is, let's say, your top three boundaries that you do not go against? This is my line in the sand.
I love this. One of my top boundaries is I get enough sleep. Because when I don't get enough sleep, I don't function properly. I can't think properly. I feel off in my body and I have a terrible day. And we know this if we don't wake up feeling good. Oh my goodness. So I'm very strict with my bedtime, very strict with no phones in the bed. I bought a wake up alarm clock life that changed my life. It made me so happy. And I have a nighttime routine that helps me to wind down and go to sleep. And there are times where I'm tempted, like, oh, I just want to watch another episode on Netflix. But this is the promise that I've made to myself. Sleep comes first. You can watch it tomorrow, right? Okay. My second non-negotiable boundary is the amount of hours I work a day. It's very easy for us to work all day long or sit behind the computer all day long. But when we actually break it down, we're not being productive during that time. We think we are because we're sitting there. But if we were to summarize the amount of work we actually get done, we can get that done in a much shorter amount of time. So I give myself limits for how much I actually work focused a day. And then the rest, I take a time to break. I take a chance to move my body, to go outside, to connect with other people. And that helps me and my body feel regulated and calm. And one of my other boundaries is I have a very strong boundary with who I invest my time and energy in. So before, I wanted to be friends with everyone, and I would go to coffee with people I didn't really actually have much in common with, and it was a really painful, heavy conversation. Or I would try to play the therapist for my friends, and I would listen to nonstop drama and all of that. Now I'm very, very clear with who and what I invest my energy into. So I have a very tight group of friends. I adore them. I always feel good with them. They are so loving, so supportive. I can be myself with them. I don't have to perform. I can really be authentic. And especially in my dating life, I'm very discerning with who I allow to have access to my energy because people have no problem wasting your time. But by being clear on your values and what you want and what you will or will not stand for, makes it a lot easier.
I love that. Yes, pay attention to who you allow in your space. And I love that you're talking about energy because you are in the energy world as well, diving into the mystical realms and tarots, intuition. What does that look like for you in your healing and thriving process and in your coaching practices?
Well, when I was in my burnout, I had ignored my intuition for a long time. So my intuition was screaming at me, and I didn't want to listen because if I had listened, I would have to change my life, and that would be uncomfortable. I would have to end the relationship, and that would mean I would be alone, and I didn't want to be alone. So for a long time, I ignored my intuition. And then when I was in my burnout, I was really like, okay, intuition, tell me what to do because now I'm really lost and I need your help. And my intuition had an attitude. She was like, no, you don't listen to me anyway. Like she was really like, no. So I had to slowly build a relationship back with my intuition. It was about learning to honor the signals my body was giving me, to trust them, and to sort of build up that intuition muscle again. So I'm happy to say now my intuition is spot on. And I listen to her no matter what, even when it logically doesn't make sense. And that that energy you can feel in your body, especially when it comes to other people. That I feel almost instantly of, ooh, no. I mean, I wish this person well, but ooh, I don't want to be involved in this energy. This doesn't feel right. So, my intuition has saved me a lot. And in that healing process, it was really about learning to trust myself. So now in my practice, I read tarot, not so much for myself anymore, because my intuition is so strong, but for other people, for my clients, a lot of the time. And when I'm working one on one in coaching, I'm very much led by my intuition, which taps into what this person really needs and how I can best support them. A lot of the time, I like to teach my clients to also listen to their intuition. I say that when you have this relationship with your body and you listen to what your body is trying to tell you, your body will guide you always to what's best for you. The right job, the right group of friends, the right relationship, the right environment. Your body will always say, ooh, yes for this, ooh, no for that. She's
Just
got your back.
just have to listen to her. Just have to listen to her. Alicia, I appreciate your time with us today. You've shared with us that burnout really isn't the end. It's the beginning. If we just take that pause, if we just listen and pay attention. So I know that we're going to have viewers and listeners today who have been running on empty because they haven't been listening. And I'm sure that what you've shared, they've connected with. So for those that want to reach out to you, how may they do so?
Of course, they can reach me at my website, aliciainspired.com. And they can also send me a message on Instagram, alicia.inspired. I also have a podcast called Radiant and Regulated with Alicia Inspired, and that gives a lot of nervous system tools. I go deeper into how I healed from my burnout and how you can really embody that confidence so that you're not trying to get your worth outside of yourself, that you can cultivate that within yourself. If you are going through burnout right now, I'm sending you all of my love and support. Please reach out to me because a lot of my clients have been through burnout as well, and it can feel like a very isolating process. And you are definitely not alone, and there is a way out of this, and boundaries is number one. So, if you're interested, I'm going to be launching and the next round of my Boundary Queen program. So you can send me a message about that. It's going to teach you how to set boundaries, but also do the deep nervous system work so that it feels safe to say no. You don't have any guilt saying no, and you say it in a way that people accept.
Sounds like say yes to yourself.
Absolutely, that's what it is.
Thank you, Alicia, for your time today. And for our listeners and viewers, until next time, this is Affirm That Shit. Somehow I Thrived. Remember to like and subscribe. You just took another step towards owning your story and thriving against all odds. This is Affirm That Shit. Somehow I thrived. If you're ready to keep kicking ass, subscribe now and let's keep breaking barriers together. Remember, life's a battle, but somehow you'll thrive.